Despero was the first villain of season 8. He appeared in Armageddon 801 through 805, and he was presumed to get a storyline in the future, like season 9 or 10. They got more episodes, but they didn't, so we didn't get him anymore. But I want to talk about the Despero we saw in season 8. And do I think he's a good villain or not? Do I think he arrived early or too late? In this video. So that's what we're going to be talking about. To begin, do I think Despero is a good villain? Yes. I think he was an extraordinary villain. I think there were some things that could have been a little bit better, but I love the idea that he turned into that giant, the monster like thing, or his alternate form, when he was fighting or when he was angry. He never turned into it when he was like in a kind of like a casual stasis. And it was really nice to kind of see a villain have those two different standards. Because you look at the past villains, like Thawne, he's just a pissed off villain all the time. Zoom is just, a drugaholic and just all of that. But we haven't really had a villain like Despero on the show. And that's something that I think made it work for season 8, especially with him being as powerful as he was. And in Barry being as powerful as he was as Nate for the first time in the entirety of the show, he's actually confident in his powers. And it felt right for Despero to appear in season 8 purely for the sole fact that it just worked. Having a powerful Barry fighting a powerful villain that could rival Kryptonians, I think worked perfectly. Now, do I think he arrived too early, too late, or right on time? I think he should have appeared in season 8, which he did. I think it would have been better if he appeared in the middle of the season. Because the middle of the season was when the season really started because it was a Deathstorm arc. And it started to kind of slowly go out. But obviously for story reasons, it worked for Armageddon. But they could have easily just made Thawne the villain for the first 5 episodes. And then done Despero. I think fleshing Despero's story out, replacing Deathstorm at least for the most part, would have worked way better than having Despero for 5 episodes, or really 4, I guess, because Despero, well, he appeared in episode 4, but not as much as the other 4 episodes in Armageddon. But the point I'm trying to make is that I think it would have been really nice if Despero appeared in the middle of season 8, with that longer storyline, bring up his origins, and bring up, what happened on his, well, we know what happened in his future, I guess, but I mean, his origin story for like 2 minutes and that was it. And it would have been nice to see more fight scenes with Despero. I think when he had 2 or 3, it would have been nice to see more. But I am grateful for what we got, because I think we were all going to season 8 kind of like, oh, okay. Because season 7 had just happened. We don't know how bad of a season that is. But it was really refreshing to have a powerful villain and a powerful Flash fighting each other. Because we never had that before. Barry fought Despero, but Despero could have been stopped by episode 3 or episode 2. No, it's episode 3, because that's when Despero first showed up. But Cicada, I mean, once they learned how to stop him, they didn't. They just ignored that and then moved on. And with Ava, we understood why she couldn't be stopped, but it dragged out due to COVID and cancellations and all that for filming. But with Despero, it just worked. And when they said he could rival Kryptonians, it just worked. And so, again, it would have been nice if it was the middle of the season, not the beginning, but I still think it worked out for Armageddon and for a future story. As we didn't get that future story. But I think it still works nonetheless. Now, I've already done a full video talking about what the storyline for Despero would have been if there was more episodes of season 9, or if we got season 10. And I brought this up before in other videos as well. We could very well get an Arrowverse comic, or Flash season 10 comic, I should say, much like they did for Smallville, showing Despero and that Despero army invasion that Eric Wallace alluded to would have happened. That was going to include the entire Justice League. It'd be the first time it ever happened in the Arrowverse, fighting the Despero army. Because, I mean, Barry had trouble handling one on some level. Barry still had his own, obviously, against Despero, but it was going to be a hell of a lot more of a fight than just fighting one. I mean, there would be several Desperos, if not more powerful. And that was something that I think would have been really, really cool to see in live action. But if they can do a comic bot, I think that'd be way cooler anyways, because at least we're going to hold on to it. And hopefully the writing will be better than it could be in live action, because live action, you have that risk of someone not being able to show up. So hopefully if they do a Flash Season 10 comic, or an animated, little limited series, I wouldn't mind that either. But I think it'd be really cool to see a Despero invasion storyline with the Justice League, or just, it could just be Barry alone. I mean, he's way more powerful now than he was in Season 8. And in Season 9, we really kind of see that in a way. Not enough, but we did kind of see it. And so it'd be really cool to see this version of Barry fight Despero versus Nate Barry. But whatever. The point is that I think Despero, if they didn't level up Barry as much as they did in Season 8, he wouldn't have worked. Like, if Despero showed up in Season 7, I think it would have been way too powerful. The writing was sucked. Season 6, 5, 4, well, maybe 4, but 5 and 6 definitely wouldn't have worked at all. I think Season 4, Despero could have shown up, but I think it would have been, again, way too powerful. It would have just, if they kept them at the level they kept them at Season 8, which, again, Season 4 is under different writers, a different showrunner even. I don't know if they would have done, if they would have made Despero as powerful as he was. But Despero's really powerful in the comics. And actually, they nerfed him in the show, because Despero's laser eye can paralyze people. And Barry got hit by it, and it didn't paralyze him. Now, well, that's because of Speed Force, maybe it's protecting him, I guess. That could be an argument you can make. But it was, well, actually, yeah, maybe it was that. Maybe they didn't, well, maybe they didn't. I don't know. It seemed like they nerfed Despero from the comics, or maybe the animation. I don't remember what it was, but there was something where Despero shot a laser at somebody and they were paralyzed. In a version of another Despero. But that actually didn't happen in the show, at least for the most part, from what I remember. But I think on that scale they nerfed him, but on the scale that, again, he can rival Kryptonians, it would have been really cool to see Kara and Clark show up. Obviously, they couldn't get them back, which kind of sucked due to time restraints. But Eric Olds did want Tyler, who plays Superman in Arrowverse and Superman Lois, in that episode, by the way. So it wasn't like they didn't try. It just wouldn't work for the time restraints. But it really would have been a very interesting story to have Barry and Clark team against Despero. Because then Despero would need to be way more powerful. And that couldn't have been done in any other season. It would have been done in Season 8. Because Barry was the most powerful in the series, with the exception of the series finale, at least on some level. Other than that, in Season 8, the most powerful version of Flash in the entire show. And again, Despero just worked. Deathstorm, like I said in another video where I talked about whether I thought Deathstorm was a good villain or not. I believe I brought up in that I haven't looked at that video in a good month and a half. But from I remember filming that video, I said in that video he worked for Season 8 because Barry was so powerful and you couldn't stop him. That's what made it so important. Was that Barry can't stop a villain. He's the most powerful speedster next to Thawne, and he couldn't stop a villain. That's literally a demigod, pretty much. Despero's a god, but he can be stopped. And he can only be stopped through someone who rivals him, who's on par with his power. And it basically confirmed that Barry is as powerful as Superman or Supergirl, if not more powerful. And the storyline for Despero, again, it should have been more fleshed out. I'm not denying that. But it just worked to really show Barry's true power. It worked to show how powerful he's become from Season 7 to Season 8, and show us, at least this is how I took it, that Season 7, while it was a horrible season, the 2 times that Barry leveled up paid off in Season 8. And the reason why I love Season 8 so much, for several reasons that I've already talked about before, but it felt like 6 and 7, Season 6 and 7, really just paid off. I mean, yeah, Season 7 sucked, and back up Season 6 wasn't that great story-wise, or writing-wise, but it felt like it paid off in the sense that I had waited 8 whole years and 2 long years during Season 6 and 7 to get to the point where I can say The Flash actually did it. They made Barry the most powerful superhero in the show, and the natural Flash, a powerful Flash. And they did it, and they chose the right villains, Despero, Deathstorm, and Thawne, and the negative forces. It just worked. And that's something that season 1 through 7 you couldn't get. Season 1 was about Barry not leveling up, but was about Barry just becoming the Flash. Season 2 was about the multiverse. And season 3 was about Iris. And season 4 was about DeVoe. And, DeVoe. And season 5 was about Cicada and Nora. And season 6 was about the Crisis and Bloodwork and Ava. Season 7 was about the Forces and Ava and Godspeed, but season 8 really felt like it's about Despero, it's about Thawne, it's about Armageddon, the timeline changing, and Deathstorm, the new forces, the negative forces, the team leveling up, Barry leveling up, Barry being more powerful, Barry doing something on his own, Barry being more confident, and that's all because of the writing that happens in season 8. Yes, Steel was not a great character, but that doesn't matter. Barry's the main character of the show, and they showed that. They show that he can do things on his own. And as season 9 happened, they threw that out. But that's not important. We're talking about season 8. And Despero played a big factor in all those things I just brought up. And so, yes, Despero was a great villain, in my opinion. And yes, he showed up at the right time, in my opinion. Do I wish he showed up in middle season 8? Yes, because it would have saved that long overhaul of Deathstorm. But I do believe Despero showing up at the beginning of the season was a good call for Armageddon, because it just worked. It really did work for the story that was there. Again, they could have easily used Thawne the entire arc. I think they kind of wanted to get away from Thawne as much as they were using him prior, but at least for the most part. But it was still nice to have, Despero and Thawne showing up. And Thawne, this whole manipulation story of Despero. Whether it was some continuity there or not, it doesn't really matter. It still happened. And that's the most important thing, is that Despero was, I believe, genuinely one of the best villains of the show. And that's what makes season 8 just kick off so great, because of Despero. But yeah, let me know in the comments down below your opinions about Despero. Did you like him as a villain? Did you not? Why did you not if you didn't? Thank you for watching. Have a good day. Have a good night. Stay safe. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys.